Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I apologize for the sounds of my HVAC system in the background. It is 32 degrees outside, so it decided I needed some warmth inside my abode. Alright, we're on Sea of Fortune in a domination match. We are down tier in the Tier 8 Japanese Battlecarrier Dewa, which didn't exist, as I explained in my previous video about the Suo. In fact, if I had my druthers, I would tell you this ship should have had the same guns that were on Musashi, because they're both a Tier 8. But that being said, the Dewa doesn't suffer from the ability to do damage if you get the right opportunities. In my opinion, I think I played, I'm guessing, 18 matches in the Dewa. It has the same accuracy problems that the other battle carriers from Japan have. Maybe not dispersion, but shell grouping. So if RNG works for you, you can do a lot of damage. We'll see an example in this match of when RNG didn't work for us, and maybe we'll see some examples of where it did. We've got the Pommern. We're shooting armor piercing, but because the Pommern is German, I've switched to HE as soon as I can. We get a minor hit there. We already shot down an airplane, although I don't think the carrier targets me very much in this match. Yeah, so because, again, like the Suo, you've got front-mounted guns. I did not use the Jizuburo Osawa, the battle carrier commander. I'm using Takeo Takagi. There we set a couple of fires on the Pommern. I do want to note, of course, we're going to show you the commander build at the end of the video, but I do want to note we are doing a full reload build, because I was like, well, if I'm inaccurate, maybe if I get more shells on target, at least I might be able to do more damage. Alright, we're still going after the Pommern. Couple cap defended flags there. He is on fire, although we're not getting credit for any of that. But we are about to hit him with a wave of torpedoes. Alright, 6 torpedo strikes. That may be one of the most successful torpedo strikes I've ever had in a Japanese battle carrier. And we're doing more fire damage. Here we're in range of his secondaries. He's really not doing a ton of damage, probably because we're angled, so all's well that ends well. There's a Pommern back there, so we will send our HE that way. And we don't have any choice, so we're just going to let this fire burn. There's also a Michelangelo coming in there, so I'm probably going to switch to armor piercing in a minute. Our destroyer is hiding in a smoke screen. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but you and I both know most cruisers have detection capability, so I just don't think that's going to work out for him. I'm not saying the Michelangelo has radar. I don't play cruisers enough to remember. Apparently Michelangelo has a lot of secondaries. There goes the Shimakaze on our team due to secondary batteries, so I'm presuming he either hid in his smoke screen and went into mandatory detection range, or he was spotted by sonar or radar and was promptly eviscerated. Alright, we've switched armor piercing. We've got another flight of airplanes, so we are going to do a drop here. But it's not going to be needed because the Michelangelo is going to go full broadside, and we get enough accuracy at about 6 kilometers. A couple of hits to the Citadel, kill number 1. We are already at 95,000 damage, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so in a minute here, we're going to engage in mano-a-mano combat. There is a cruiser to our right, and I'm not really... It's a Napoli. Okay. Napoli to our right. We know we've got a Pommern up ahead of us. And I was not certain if the Pommern had torpedoes or not. So I'm going to play it very cautiously with the Pommern. But first we're going to engage Louisiana, legendary tier ship. I think that is also a battle carrier, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to shoot some shells that way, not do a whole lot of damage. The Napoli's asking me for help. I'm saying yes, I intend to help you. But first I'm shooting at Louisiana to help out this cruiser who is way too close and encourage him to get back. But we both know he's dead. It's too late. He's dead. Let's get torpedoes out. Anyway, we're over 100k damage. All right, we're turning because I'm presuming that the Pommern is going to come out right in that gap there. And can I still shoot at Louisiana? No. And he doesn't look like he's in a good location for me to drop torpedoes, so I probably won't do that. All right. I don't know who that was. I think that's over near the Alpha Cap. Whatever they're doing over there. All right, take a look at the scoreboard. We have killed 5 of their ships. They have killed 4 of our ships. We have just over 100 points lead. Oh, it's a Poison. All right, I was calling it a Pommern. I'm sorry. Yes, the Poison. We are going to set him up for a torp drop right there. And I am also guessing the Poison is going to destroy this cruiser, who is trying to torp him valiantly, but I just don't think that's going to work out. All right, we'll do another heal just to get our maximum hit points, because I believe we are soon going to engage in combat with Preußen. We've got 1, 2, 3 torpedo strikes on the Preußen, which was a little disappointing, but it looks like he was turning to avoid them. So I guess we're lucky we got 2 torpedo strikes. Anyway, initially I was flattening out there to try to get him broadside, but then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, he is probably turning in, so why don't we turn in, and that way we can minimize our attack angle. And the really good thing about the airstrike is that when you are not getting ready to drop the airstrike, it gives you an overhead view of a spotted enemy. So there's a pretty good salvo that does about 8 or 9,000 damage. We're only 3 point something kilometers away from Preußen, so I was trying to stay behind these rocks in case he wanted to drop torpedoes, if he has any, which I think he does. This was really disappointing. Point blank shot at the waterline, and they all fell short. They all missed. So there's an example of Miyogi type shell grouping and dispersion. There's absolutely no reason that at 2.5 kilometers away, a full salvo should have gotten nothing on a broadside battleship. Absolutely no reason at all. There we do some landscaping. We're going to run into the island here. We're going to drop some torps. That cruiser, Napoli B, is still onrushing Preußen, and I would call that a mistake, but what do I know? Anyway, Preußen fools everybody. He accelerates, he kills Napoli B, and he dodges my torpedoes. I'm going to try to shoot for his front guns, and again, I either totally miss or hit the island. So another example of really close range, very inaccurate guns from the Dewa. So I'm backing up as fast as I can, obviously, because he's coming at me. I think he thinks that he's going to ram me or whatever and take me out. Go through the bow plane and at least get 1 penetration there and do a little bit of damage. And then we're going to switch to HE because he's given us a bow profile. And I don't know why he didn't just charge me full out the first time. Let me see if the Preußen has torpedoes. Here I'm criticizing him. I don't even know, because it's been so long. All right, we're going to go into WoW's builds and check it out. Does he have torpedoes? I guess he doesn't. For some reason, I thought the Preußen had torpedoes. What do I know? So anyway, never mind about all that. I guess he can't charge into me and hit me with torpedoes if he doesn't have any. But basically, we're going to bow tank. We're going to use our HE to burn him down. And we're also going to throw in the planes when we can. Now he appears to be backing up. It's probably smarter a little bit on his part. Again, he's quick enough to where the entire torpedo drop is going to miss him. But at this point, we have a tremendous hit point advantage. We've got front-mounted guns. It's a German ship that's prone to burning. He really doesn't have any way to escape. So we are going to essentially just HE spam the Preußen to death. We set him on fire. He can't put it out. And we're going to burn him down as we go over 150k inflicted damage. Close quarters expert medal. I think we can call that insult to injury. All right, so it is myself and the carrier. The smoke clears.
Problem solved, sir.
And a battle carrier and a carrier are the only teams left, only ships left on the blue team. The carrier, which is a midway, is on the red team. They might both be midways. And I need to step up my midway game because apparently these guys were just tearing it up out there and I had no clue. So we've got a pretty good offensive match under our belt with 150k damage, a couple of kills, almost 10 torpedo strikes. So we're going to go around the mountain here because that's literally all we can do and get into Charlie and cap that out. If you're paying attention to the minimap, the Lexington capped out Bravo and is on his way to capping out Alpha. So, wow, talk about a guy not content to sit back and launch airplanes. The enemy midway gets the high caliber medal. Spoiler alert, our midway is also going to get a high caliber medal. There is no history of the ship, as we talked about in the previous video, and I mentioned earlier. There's nothing to talk about in terms of the history of the Dewa. It's merely I don't know. It's really a stretch, in my opinion, by Wargaming. I explained that in the Suo video, that this configuration doesn't exist. I showed you the picture, and I'll do it again in this title card. The picture of the design book for Project A140. This ship isn't in there. Neither is the Suo. So Wargaming just decided to extrapolate what happened with Issei up into Battlecarrier land and create these ships, but they aren't real. And again, if it was real, because it's a A140, it should have had Musashi slash no, I'm not even going to remember the name. Yamato guns. It should have had the giant guns on it. So, and really maybe the solution would have been to do 2 twin turrets instead of 2 triple turrets. Who knows? But I'm just saying. All right, checking my range there in case we get the carrier to pop up. Spoiler alert, we won't. So this is the last ship. They are coming out of early access on Monday. I would not rush to buy them unless you were a battle carrier aficionado. But that being said, I think the U.S. battle carriers are better. I found the guns of these battle carriers, of the top 2, the Dewa and the Suo, to be inaccurate. And I thought the Issei, you have to show way too much to get all 4 guns on target, and that's pretty ungainly. So I much prefer the U.S. battle carriers. Not that I prefer those at all, but I'm just saying, comparatively. All right, here we are on the victory screen. Close quarters expert medal, 156,442 total damage, my best damage game. 2 kills, couple of citadel hits, 4 cap defended flags, and a solo base cap. 334,131 silver, 4,400 ship XP, 4,900 commander XP in the Dewa. And look at the team result. As predicted, the midway, 4,437 base XP and 4 kills. Good night. Anyway, we ended up in second place. 1 medal, 2 kills, 2840 base XP. Officially a good game. I would consider any game where you got over 150k damage to be pretty good. Just one man's opinion. But yeah, all right, let's go back into the port and take a look at the Dewa. All right, at least 440 something hours or so, still in early access. We went with aiming system mod 1, damage control system mod 2, concealment system mod 1, and main battery mod 3. The Dewa, as you can see, is fully upgraded. Taking a look at the loadout, you got high explosive, armor piercing, and aerial torpedoes, unlimited charges of the damage control party, 3 charges of the repair party, 3 charges of a largely useless enhanced secondary targeting. We did not run any booster flags in this match. Got the 3-year strong flag and the standard permanent camouflage. 83,000 hit points with our build, with a 25% torpedo damage reduction and a 32% fire resistance. Moving on, our aircraft, the Aichi M6A2 Siron. Hit points 3750 with our build, max speed 241 knots. 3 aircraft per attack squadron, and each aircraft drops 3 torpedoes for a total of 9 torpedoes per attack flight. Max damage per torpedo 4,409. The torpedo range is 3 kilometers at 50 knots. Main battery, 2 triple 410mm turrets. They fire out to 19.9 kilometers with our build. Reload in 22.8 seconds. The main battery turn time is 39.1 seconds with our build. Shell grouping value of 2.2. I don't believe that. And the dispersion allegedly is all slightly better. Again, your mileage may vary, but I found the guns to be very inaccurate. HE shells, 6,800 max damage, 30% fire chance. The shells pen 68 millimeters of armor. AP shells do 14,580 max damage. They pen 955 millimeters at point blank range and 528 millimeters at maximum range with our build. And they fuse arms at 68 millimeters. All right, secondary armament. Again, I've explained the numbers, very misleading there. They both have a range of 5.2 kilometers. There's 2 sets. You got 12 by 2s, and then you have 2 triple 155s. So again, 5.2 kilometer range on both sets of secondaries. That first set of 12 by 2s reloads in 7.5 seconds with a shell grouping value of 1. Dispersion all slightly better than stock. HE shells do 2,100 max damage with an 8% fire chance and pen 21 millimeters of armor. The 2x3s reload in 12 seconds. They also have a shell grouping value of 1. Dispersion all slightly better than stock. HE shells do 2,600 max damage with a 10% fire chance, and they pen 26 millimeters of armor. All right, AA defense. You can see the first type of AA took a big hit in terms of damage per second. And then the 40 millimeters had a big jump. Your longest reaching AA is your dual purpose secondaries, the 12 by 2s. Your best AA are these 40 millimeter guns, which do 257 damage per second. I found the AA to be pretty good. All right, maneuverability, just 24.9 knots in the water. Turning circle 890, rudder shift time 23.1, which was a big improvement for the build. Concealment 13.6 on the surface, 11.4 from the air, 15.4 when firing from smoke. Taking a look at the stats, we played 18 matches, we've won 10, we survived 5 of the battles, and our main gun accuracy was just 43%. 13 of our 17 kills via the main battery, so that's why I would put Takeo Takagi as your commander. Average battle results 0.9 kills and almost 78k damage per match. And our best battle achievements, 3 kills, 31 airplanes shot down. And then the max damage and max XP was from the match you just watched. So it's a damage dealer. Not very good, in my opinion, at finishing the deal. Again, the torpedoes are really low damage. And the main battery is very inaccurate, in my opinion. Despite what all the numbers say, I found it to be inaccurate. Let's talk about something that was a pleasant surprise. The armor profile of the Dewa. All right, here you can see slightly above water citadel, but you've got a heavy plate at the front there, heavy armor plate. And I think that allows you to bow tank in the ship somewhat because it protects those direct hits from the front through the bow plating into the citadel, at least in my opinion. All right, 32 millimeter bow, so you can see the shells will go through the bow and then they'll hit that plate. All right, here was another pleasant surprise. The turret faces are sloped and heavily armored. So that's about as good as you're going to get for a non-US battleship. So again, that allowed us to bow tank the Preußen. And I don't know if he was specifically aiming for my turrets, but it didn't work out for him. All right, we're going to throw on the side plating here, just below the water only. Does not come up and act as spaced armor, unfortunately. Your armor belt on the side, 356 millimeters, which I mean is better than less than that. And the rest of the armor is just going to catch on fire. So I found the armor to be a little bit of a pleasant surprise with the Dewa, just my opinion. All right, I don't disagree with anything here on the screen. I think after repeated criticism, Wargaming's gotten a lot better about making those accurate. Here's the Commander Takeo Takagi, fully maxed for your pleasure. Phoenix, plus 5% hit points restored during the repair party. We're doing a full accuracy build in preset 2 with Paolo di Revel, or reload build, pardon me, for reload, and Ding Rushang for reload. Total of 9.5% faster reload. Flammable Cannoneer in row number 1, gyrating drill bits in row number 2, marksmanship in row number 3, and reaching out XXL in row number 4, and our legendary skill, fight fire with fire. So I think that's how you should build the Dewa. If you get it and play it, if you don't get it, I certainly don't blame you. Love to hear what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.